Okay, so let's dive into this stack of sources from November 29, 2025. It's a pretty heavy one.
It is. We're looking at some really high-stakes stuff today.
Yeah, we're going to try and synthesize three big themes: a major economic story out of India, a contentious policy shift in the U.S., and then a really sobering look at the justice system.
And the goal here is to get behind the headlines, to find those little footnotes, the details that tell the real story.
Right, the human cost of it all.
Exactly.
So let's start with that economic story. The headline out of India looks great: an 8.2% Q2 GDP growth. That's a six-quarter high.
Yeah, and you see that performance is really buoyed by manufacturing and services. Both are up around, 9.1, 9.2%?
Which sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But there's a catch, isn't there?
There's always a catch. The thing is, while that real GDP number looks strong, the nominal growth rate was only 8.7%.
That's a problem.
It's a huge problem. It signals, really tepid underlying activity. And because taxes are collected on nominal activity, it makes their fiscal deficit target almost impossible to hit.
And that target was pegged to a much higher number, right?
Much higher, 10.1% nominal growth. So this is a big miss.
And this is all happening just days after the IMF gave India's statistics a C's grade.
Right, the second lowest rating. They basically said the data is inadequate for surveillance because the base year is still 2011-12. It's just too old.
So from data integrity concerns in one part of the world, let's shift to a major policy escalation in the U.S.
A really intense one.
So U.S. President Donald Trump announced a plan to permanently pause migration from all third world countries.
And this came right after the shooting death of a National Guard soldier in Washington.
Okay, and the alleged attacker?
Yeah.
What do we know?
The context is just critical here. He was a 29-year-old Afghan national, reportedly a member of the Zero Units.
The CIA-backed counterterrorism groups?
The very same. So you immediately have this collision of, past foreign policy and current domestic security. It's incredibly charged.
And the administration's response?
It was immediate and sweeping. They ordered a full-scale, rigorous re-examination of green cards.
For immigrants from 19 specific countries of concern. We're talking about Cuba, Haiti, Iran, Afghanistan.
And it affects about 1.6 million people.
1.6 million permanent residents. People already living in the U.S.
It's a profound shift.
That intersection of security and liberty.
Mm-hmm.
It actually brings us to our third theme, a really troubling pattern in India's justice system.
And we see a similar kind of institutional friction here, just in a different context. The Supreme Court, for the third year in a row, it hasn't confirmed a single death sentence.
Not one. And this year, they've acquitted 9 prisoners who were on death row.
9. And the reason is always the same. The court keeps flagging these grave investigative lapses. Just poorly conducted trials from the start.
Is there a case that stands out?
The Surendra Kohli case is probably the most extreme. He was the prime accused in the Nathori killings. He spent 19 years in custody.
19 years.
And was acquitted, not through a normal appeal, but through a curative jurisdiction, which is this extraordinary rare measure used when there's been a complete failure of justice. The probe was just botched.
The human cost of that is just unimaginable. 19 years gone.
Lost family, livelihood, police torture. I mean, the trauma is immense. And the worst part is India has no statute recognizing a right to compensation for wrongful convictions.
So you get your life back, but you get no help rebuilding it.
Nothing. You're left with nothing.
So today we've gone from the integrity of macroeconomic data all the way down to the most fundamental level of personal liberty.
Yeah, it's institutional failure on every scale, really.
It is. And what seems to connect all of this is this failure of institutional duty, whether it's delays in updating economic data or failing to compensate someone for a life that was wrongly taken from them. It reminds me of what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar worried about when he said man was vile, meaning institutions break when people neglect their constitutional duties.
A very powerful point.
So we'll leave our listeners with this thought. In a world overflowing with information, where critical thinking is more essential than ever, where exactly in the system does accountability need to start for us to begin rebuilding trust?